Hello and welcome to Leon's Lockpad. We're on a Thursday today and we're going to do a lock picking tutorial on how to pick a lock. I hope everybody's doing well. So we have our lock. We got this from my good friend Mr. Tony Worrall, awesome guy. 3D printed a few things for me and saw Gavin have one of these and I thought, you know what, definitely need one so I can do some tutorials. Slightly, well, not modified it, put some silver tape around it to give it the illusion of it being metallic. And this is a example of basically a cut euro, basically the same as this. So that's what you're getting. I will do another video at some point with it upside down, as you know, you get our American cousins and other people where, you know, they pick locks the other way around. Obviously in the UK, all euro locks face this way. But what we're going to start off first is we're going to start off with a standard driver. It only has a standard key pin, which that's all you need to know anyway, because in generally challenge locks, these are all different. But yeah, so what we're going to do is, as you can see, so here's your core, which that's what this is. There's your Bible, which is the outer part of the lock, which is this. This here is your warding, which is very similar to that. So as you see, you get your warding there. This is your warding, and up here as well. We're going to use nothing special on this. We're going to use a tension wrench as if it was a pick, and we'll use our fingers for the tension. So we can either pick counterclockwise or clockwise. So counterclockwise would be this way, and clockwise would be this way. Got a nice snap to it as well. So what we'll do is we'll get our pin, our key pin, and you know, let me use my big pick, might help a bit. So what you do is, when you pick, you push down on your pin and you get your tension. You give it like a light tension, not too hard. And what you do is slowly push that key pin down until you feel that movement. Now obviously it's a single pin, so it's going to instantly open. If you had other pins, you're going to get a binder, which this could be your binder, which means then your core would turn. Probably if it's the binder, your core would turn just a tiny bit, like an offset there, and you'd have, like I say, you'd have your binder. And your binder is your driver, the first one to set in place. Like I say, as you push it down and you give it tension, you're open. And it's all because of this, which is your shear line. This is your shear line, which is across here, and these meet up with the shear line. So when you push key pin down, if you look, the key pin and the driver are now at the shear line. Well, they're a part of it. So as you turn, it undoes. So importantly is that's the shear line. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that set, that first click. That first click, and what happens is when you get your first click and it turns just slightly less, and you've got one binding. It should be a case then of going across the lock to the other pins. Some you'll find really loose and baggy, doing nothing. It won't be then, but you will find the next pin will feel the same. You'll feel some resistance from it, and as you push it down, you'll get another click and another slight turn of the core, depending what pins are in there. Now, if we take this standard one out and we put in a spool, I'll show you what I mean. My daughter's on one today, I do apologise. So, this is what your spool looks like. Spool, because it's an old-fashioned thing really. You just get cotton reels and that, and spools. This is the shape they would be. So what we're going to try and go for is the shear line again. But the difference with a spool, you're going to get a false set. And then you're going to get counter rotation until it sets in place. So what I mean by a false set, say I've already picked 2 pins here, say 1 and 1 there, and I come against this spool, I will get this feeling, and visually you'll see the core slightly offside. This is what you call a false set, because it's making you believe that it's been set, and it hasn't. And what we do with a spool is you've got to be gentle with the tension on the spool, because as you push it down, as you can see, it's giving me counter now. As you can see, it's going counterclockwise, it's countering, and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to lose everything. You're not. If you just keep at it very slowly, you should get that click, and then what'll happen is you'll pop it open. But that spool is it's a security pin, so it's making you think you've set the lock when you haven't. So we'll go back to that again. So as you see, we've already picked 2 pins and we're in a false set. But one thing we'll say, if you ever got someone ever sends you a challenge lock and without even touching it, the core is like this, doesn't mean it's bad work. It just means there's lots of nasty stuff in there, more like T-pins and lots of spools. So there we go again. So if say we've got these first 2 pins picked and we're back at the spool, you get your false set. And as you can see where the shear line is, this is the bit we need to get down here. So like I say, when you pull on that pin, you push down on that pin, we're getting counter rotation. And sometimes you can get tricked, some counter rotation, and you can overset. And an overset is this, it's where the pin has gone right through, past the shear line. But to get out of that, you just gently lift, the tension, and it will release that pin back. And you'll get your shear line. And then we just give it a turn, and we're open. But that's how a spool interacts. And it's the same as when you're making a challenge lock. If you're making a challenge lock, you don't want this spool all the way up here and this bit practically just touching the shear line, because it's not being effective. An effective spool is what it's doing now, where this thin narrow bit, and there's a big gap in the core, and in the Bible, like I say, you get this, which is not core slop, it is like I say, a false set. What we'll go with next is a serrated driver. And I'll show you what it's like. Now, a serrated driver, you can have 2 ways, but I'll do the way how it would be most effective for you to feel. Also, I'll be doing a part 2 to this as well. I'll be doing next video will be mushroom pins and T-pins. There's a T-pin, as you can see. If you turn it this way, it's like a letter T. And we have a mushroom spool. Yeah. So here we go. We've got our serrated driver, our standard key pin. You do get serrated key pins. All these key pins, all these drivers that you're seeing, you do get in high security locks. Well, moderately security locks, depending on the brand. But same thing. So say we've done our binder and we've picked these first 2 pins and we're left with number 3. So we've got the tension on. And we slowly push that key pin down, and what you'll feel is a click. And that gives you a little bit of a false set. And then push it down some more. And you're going to get another little bit of a false set. As you can see, it's dug into these grooves. The Bible on the core. And to be honest, with the serrations, it's just a case of keep going until you find you'll get that. Oh, there you go. See, as it popped, that for me, if we was doing lock picking, a proper lock, that would be a pop. And that's the great feeling you get, because when it goes pop, you do that and you're like, yes, I got it open. Awesome feeling. It never gets old. Oh, just to let you know as well, what's the date today? What are we on? I think it's the 26th tomorrow. My channel is 3 years old tomorrow. I can't believe it's been 3 years. So, let's go for this again. Get some light on there. Obviously, you've got your spring as well. But, yes. So, there we go. So, we've got our serrations. There's 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Our keeping. So, what we do is give it some tension. So, really, tension wrench would be at the top here. And you'd be pulling on it. So, even though this is a little one, your tension wrench would be in there. And it would be pushing on this. And then you'd get that. You get your tension. Like I say, with tension, all depends on the lock. Like Abus's, you need light tension with them because they have a lot of spools in that. And doing them too hard just doesn't work. Certain locks require some heavy tension. So let's go again. So we've got our serrated driver, standard keeping, and then what we do is we push down, and as you push down, I get a little notch, and it proves it's in line because this keeping at the moment is loose because with the shear line is jammed in this serration. Go again, we got another click, and we go again, and we get another click. As you can see, we're binding on the driver, keeping it loose. Now if the lock was upside down, like I say, we'll do one like that as well. You'll understand why you get that flop as well in some of the locks. And then we go again, and you're going to get, it's going to go, and there we go. They've met the shear line and it's come open. It is, a lot of people think picking a lock is quite difficult. It's not. Challenge locks are difficult and security locks are difficult, and don't bother with cheap ones. Really cheap ones, they're really loose inside and awful. They're no good. You want just something standard, or even master locks. Certain master locks, they're a nice, fun, easy pick, and you know, some do have spools in. You get Abus's, which are more security ones. They're really fun to pick. I learned to do spools and that on Abus's, but we'll come to that point again at some point. So there we go. That's the first video on this series of how to pick a lock. I hope you found any of this information interesting. Any questions, please leave in the comments. I will answer whatever you want, and don't forget, if you'd like to contact me, please subscribe, give me a like. Bye. Don't forget to like, and we're going to do a part 2. Bye.